The show is live?
The show is live. Hey, YouTube. I almost said Home Server Show. Surface Geeks.
Banging his head against the
And
desk.
John. Hey,
Hello.
don't forget, this is a podcast conversation. If you have surfed here via a Google or Bing search and you're looking for specific information, this is probably going to be about a 1 hour conversation, recorded mostly for audio purposes. I'm just telling you now. Don't hate me in the comments because this is a conversation.
This is not an unboxing. It could be, but it probably isn't.
I get them every week, so it'll be a hit, right? Like I'll say the HP Stream Mini desktop. Someone will come in there and say, "This review sucks and it's too long." Like, yeah, well, it was a podcast. Okay, so sorry about that. But hey, guys, out there in video check, audio check.
Surface.
Let me fix that.
Scratching the surface.
Fix that.
Oh, I wasn't going to comment on that. Thanks for bringing that out, Silk Slayer.
So I need to fix this. Dang it.
Good job, Dwayne. Dwayne. Surface Geeks Dave.
So YouTubers, this is going to take me a couple more minutes. I need to embed some video.
Un momento, por favor.
I apologize.
JPEG Ross out there. Lapta, always tweeting at me. Thank you, sir.
Lapta. Yep.
Rennie, I'm not familiar with you, Rennie. Hello, sir.
Randy P.
Rhino Freak, always there. Yoda, a.k.a. Brian. I like that. I like how we're losing people. That's great. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Good seeing you. Down to 10. I'll just keep calling people out. We'll lose them. Back up to 11. Looks like we're having some connection difficulties. Clark B, what's up, buddy?
People are refreshing, but I don't have it yet. So
Joe Miner. Oh, that's why people. Guys, do not refresh. Everyone just calm down. We'll let you know. Actually, we won't let you know. We'll just start and then you'll figure it out.
They can't hear us anyway.
Oh, so I'm talking to nobody. This is
you're
great.
Talking to nobody.
Okay.
Now
I got to go through my whole routine again.
Yeah, now we can tell them. Okay, refresh.
Guys, so I've been giving shout-outs to y'all, and you haven't been able to hear me. I'll give everyone a second to refresh. So fresh and so clean. Can you hear John? Okay, we have a yes from Six Layer. I've been giving shout-outs to everyone in the chat room, not realizing you can't hear me. So I'll start again. Yoda, a.k.a. Brian, Final Freak, Lapta, Joe Miner. Dwayne's in there twice, 27 and 76.
Nice.
He's named so well, he's got to be here twice. Clark B.
Mike Howard, JPEG Dural.
Yep.
Truffley.
Truffley. Welcome.
I don't know Truffley.
I wish we could see profiles. I wish this was like a real social network.
Yeah.
I want to see. I want a quick picture and an ASL from everybody.
HSEC location.
And yeah, John, I could have seen you on YouTube. John at his best. Just randomly ranting and raving about nothing.
All right,
John,
you guys ready?
I'm not.
Yep, you're ready. You were born ready.
I'm not repeating that, Dwayne.
Okay, YouTubers, I see you out there. We've got live video. We're about to start the podcast. Sorry it's taking so long. You can chat with us live at surfacegeeks.net/live, or you just go to surfacegeeks.net and click the live podcast option. Let me get the wall going here.
Dave, they're saying you're quiet, which I find hard to believe.
Well, yeah, I wasn't talking into the mic. I was kind of moving around. Is that better? Everybody better?
Oh, now you're deep, Dave.
Should we tweet this?
Should we take a step back?
Tweet.
If John isn't at Meetup, then he has to buy all the beer. I'll make a deal.
Oh.
I will be at Meetup and I'll buy the beer.
Nice.
Yes, Joe Miner. I don't have a choice, considering I have right now 2 Windows phones and a Surface. So as long as I don't have some kind of mental breakdown and switch to iOS before Meetup, I'll be there.
Oh, don't even start. Okay, let's hang on. Surface Geeks is live with at Wisk.
Kowski.
surfacegeeks.net.
So everyone hears
/live.
all the typing that Dave's doing. If I did that, he'd be yelling at me.
I would.
Just a heads up. Vote yes if you want John to buy the beer. But I'm not buying any Budweiser or Bud Light, guys. We're going all in with this.
No, I don't want you to buy beer. I want you to buy dinner Friday night or Saturday night. Pick your night. It's usually anywhere from 400 to 600 when I buy.
You know how much beer I could get us for that?
A lot of beer for $400.
Yeah, especially if you're drinking Natty Light.
Natty, oh nat.
We'll have to talk about that, Dave.
Okay.
I think breakfast might be more affordable.
Breakfast will be Sunday. I'll go over this with you.
Yeah.
We'll talk. How about that? Let's record this thing as a podcast. How about that? Okay, YouTubers, sorry, I'm just now getting started. Go over to surfacegeeks.net/live. Surfacegeeks.net. Click the live button in the top. You can chat with us back and forth. We have a live chat room. Everybody's going back and forth right now. So get over there. Here we go. Click the button. This is a Surface Geeks podcast, episode number 87, recorded on March the 18th, 2015. Welcome back to the Surface Geeks podcast. I'm your host, David McCabe, joined by Mr. John Wiskowski. How you doing tonight, John?
Great, Dave. Thanks for having me again.
It is good to have you out here in the Surface Geeks podcast. We had some, we're trying to get going. It's usually that second podcast always starts a little late. So we do Home Server Show, then we do Surface Geeks, and we had a good time on Home Server Show talking to Dwayne about the HP Stream Mini Desktop. I'm trying to get all those names out there. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, head over to homeservershow.com and check out that podcast. But you can see a lot more podcasts over at the Geeks Network. TheGeeksNetwork.com, you can find John's podcast over there, the Agnostic Tech Podcast, which, from what I hear, is way more agnostic today than I really wanted to know about. I think people are going to have to tune in.
Yeah, even I didn't plan for the Agnostic Tech podcast to get this agnostic.
As far, nobody saw this coming. So, if you just think about what Jim is now using as a phone, Jim Collison, if you know, and then tune into the Agnostic Tech Podcast.com and see what Darren is now using. So it's kind of a crazy flipped world right now, things going on. But that's just to say, hey, check out the Geeks Network. A lot of great podcasts over there. And John, we're adding 3 in the coming week.
What?
3. 2 tech podcasts from some good friends of mine that I hang out with at CES. I've talked about them before, and they've kind of been on the network, and then we're trying to get our business together. And together, I'm in Indianapolis, not Boston. And so these guys are on official, I think, next week. I'm waiting for artwork, and then I'm going to tell you about them.
Great news.
And then we've got I know you guys don't want to hear this, an all Apple podcast.
Click.
So, yeah, we just lost everybody. No, but if that's your thing, there's a podcast over there on the Geeks Network for you to listen to. You don't have to hear it here, right? That's why we do it. You don't have to hear it here. All right, John. I need to start out with Meetup. If any of you guys have heard about Meetup, Meetup is, I think this is going to be the 5th annual. I don't remember. We've been doing a tech geek Meetup for several years in a row. It started in Wisconsin, has migrated here to Indianapolis. Jim and I talked last week that we have a tentative date set aside for you. Okay? Tentative date set aside for you. September 12th. Now, I want you to write that in your books, put it in your calendar, remember it, but don't book your flights yet. Don't book your hotel yet. Don't go yet. I need to make sure everything is perfectly aligned for that date. But September 12th, I think that's going to be the Home Server Show Surface Geeks Geeks Network Meetup. So that's the date we're going to have. Last year we had a great time. And John, you're going to come this year, right?
I am coming.
Okay. So I'm going to get that date to John. He's going to book his flights. Unrefundable. He's going to book unrefundable.
Yes, sir.
So he can be here. And I've got a spot at Surface Geeks headquarters just for you, John.
Nice.
Co-hosts always have a spot waiting for them at Surface Geeks headquarters.
If I could receive the room service menu before I arrive so I can pick out my breakfast for the first morning, I just like doing that. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll send the 5-year-old up with a granola bar. How about that? You can pick apple or strawberry.
Apple.
Okay. Apple or strawberry. Hopefully we'll have some in stock. They do tend to eat those a lot. Dave, do you realize that people would have to fly on 9/11? Yeah, but I think we're beyond that, aren't we? We can fly on 9/11 now. We do it in spite of the people that caused the 9/11.
That's right.
Yes.
Let's do this.
Yes, let's do it. Meetup. It's a good time. Just geeks get together. We do presentations about technology, home storage, tablets, phones. It's a great time. We have a really good time. Friday night, all day Saturday, and a little bit of Sunday morning. So plan on that. You need to plan on all 3 of those events. Friday night, at least Saturday, all day Saturday, and Sunday morning. We're having breakfast Sunday morning. All right, John. A lot of crap's been going on.
A lot of news, and most of it hit like in the last 24 hours, I think.
It
too,
did.
Right?
I
Good
know.
thing this is a Wednesday show, not a Tuesday show.
Yeah, we'd have missed everything. We'd have done a show about, where's that Windows 10 build? Gosh darn it. Isn't that what the internet keeps griping about?
Well, and then within 5 minutes of its release, it turned into, there's bugs in the Windows 10 build.
I don't know. These Windows guys are just killing me. I'm
The
like,
Windows
just wait.
The Windows
Nope.
10 build is 2 weeks old.
They'll give it to you when it's ready, when they're ready, and like Windows 10 for phones. I wasn't that bent out of shape, John, that my 1020 couldn't get Windows 10 beta. You
And
know?
I haven't spoken to anyone that wants to run Windows 10 for phones full time. Maybe I'm missing something, but anyone that I've talked to, anyone I've seen on another podcast talking about Windows, our own community, does not seem to be production quality ready yet. Not nearly as much as Windows 10 is. I'm not running any of the builds full time. I did have the Windows 10 for phone build on my 635. I'm just enjoying my Surface and my HTC One too much to even try to mess with them. I haven't even installed the developer preview on my HTC One. Everything's working, and these are my main devices. I use them for work, and I'm really happy. I am following the Windows 10 progress. I'm looking forward to trying it again, but I still think I'll be nervous to make a jump too early with either Windows 10 or Windows 10 phone.
Yeah, I mean, I reverted back. I've got my i5 here. I was joking with you earlier. I'm changing my desk around. So my Core i5 Surface Pro 3. I put Windows 10 on it, and honestly, I just hated it. I really did. It was nice to take a look at it, but I reverted back. I just wiped it out and went back to 8.1 and enjoy that much better. If you have a spare device, put it on a spare device. I know you guys are going to run it on production stuff, but you can't complain. Especially, I don't want to hear it on Twitter. But that's what we do. We complain. So
That's right. That's what we do best.
the internet gives us a place to complain, so we like to do it. We like to do that. All right, so Windows 10, a new build was released. Was that today?
Was today.
Wednesday the 18th.
Late afternoon our time. I
Yeah.
guess maybe noon, 1 p.m. Pacific.
I know, I see all the tweets. I do it too. I'm installing. I'm 50%. I'm 75%.
A lot of pictures in my feed. I don't know if it's because I'm following more of a Windows-centric crowd now, but a lot of install screens, yeah.
Yeah. I do it too, so I can't complain about that.
No, I like seeing that. I didn't do it right when it came out, but I kind of live blogged an install I was doing on my Asus laptop. Remember that?
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's interesting. So as long as you know what you're doing, do it. But if you don't know what you're doing, do not even attempt it. So if you're like me, you had to wipe your Asus clean, and you had to have the drivers handy already. You didn't have any kind of internet access on the device or anything until you installed the drivers. So
I just found some things that were too cantankerous for me. Yeah, I know it's old news, but when the first build came out, they had an audio issue, and I couldn't route audio back to podcast properly. So I was just like, well, if I can't do that, then I'm not going to use that to podcast. So I stopped using Surface Pro 3 i5 for joining the podcasts, even though I don't podcast with it completely. But it's fun to run. It was fun to run, and I like it. I thought I was going to be kind of down on it about the whole tile start menu kind of thing, but it just like Windows 8, you see it for 2 or 3 days straight, and it's just like, okay, that's what it is. I like it. I'll do it. It is what it is, right?
yeah, and that's my problem on the Asus. I was kind of down on it. I think there were some things on the Asus model that just made Windows 10 not as appealing as probably if I tried it on my Surface Pro 3, right? I probably will have a pretty good experience, and I just don't want to risk that. I don't want to start getting a bad taste in my mouth. I don't want to start being frustrated when I use my Windows Phone or my Surface, because that's going to make me start to wander, right? And there's no need to do that right now. None of it's final. None of it's official. In fact, they constantly are changing what Windows 10 is going to do and what features it's going to have and what's going to ship with it. And we have something, like Windows Hello. That's going to be part of Windows 10 now. That wasn't going to be part of it. Windows Phone is now going to get USB mass storage support and external peripherals. They finally are getting finished with their trackpad drivers, and they really want to be able to compete with the MacBooks of the world out there on all Windows 10 trackpads. I mean, Project Spartan we haven't even really had a chance to play with yet. Cortana's everywhere, so all of these things just got pushed on us like today or yesterday, right? So it's constantly changing. So if I was to try Windows 10 a week ago and it really turned me off, I would miss out on all this stuff. So,
Well, I think that's the podcast, John. I think we're done.
Well, no, I mean we definitely should hit some of those things up, but it's just
Okay,
an example. I mean that's not even all of them, right? But of just all the things that Windows 10 is going to bring to us. And I guess we could even just start with that. Windows 10 is coming, right? That was kind of confirmed, I guess, earlier this week.
Was that confirmed by? I mean, that was an accident to begin with, right?
Maybe to begin with. I know there's a blog post now.
But then they went ahead and said, "Yeah, it's out," so we admit it. So it's I mean, it's quite the. I don't know. It's around the corner.
It's aggressive. It's around the corner, and it's aggressive, right?
Aggressive.
So summer, I guess we can say, you've probably heard, it's summer.
When Windows 10 global launch.
Yes. 190 countries. I don't know how you tackle that, but and China being a big focus of that, right? I mean, I know that's the area of the world they were in when this leaked or accidentally was announced, but you hear more and more about China with a lot of manufacturers, Apple being one of them. And now I feel like Microsoft's starting to talk about China more and more.
I'm still thinking about summer. I mean, summer to me is June, July.
August or September.
August still is unfortunately for the kids, starts to get back to school, right? June, July is summer. And but yeah, Microsoft could be targeting August or September and still call that summer. I think maybe not September. Definitely not after Labor Day, right? So
That's a good way. Yeah, it's a good way of thinking about it. Before
Memorial Day to Labor Day. One of those weeks in there somewhere, they've got to launch Windows 10 globally. And I'm betting it's not going to be June. I first told you my bet is June, right? Last year, what was it? May. What did I tell you, John? It It was May 20 that they had the Surface Pro 3 event, and then they launched on June 20. Launch meaning you could buy the hardware. I just don't know if they can do that again with Windows 10. And I'm thinking of Windows 10, maybe even a Surface Pro 4.
Ooh, I mean, you have to think that launch day is Windows 10 day and Surface Pro 4 day, right?
Yeah.
It's not just one of those. I mean, Windows 10 maybe might be available to download early in the week, but you got to think there's going to be a day. And was that Surface 2 day when they had that, and it was Windows 8 1 day and Surface 2 day? I think those were together. I could be wrong.
Too.
And then it might have even been some kind of Xbox video game release day. I can't remember for sure. It was definitely a lot going on that week.
I know. I'm starting to forget.
Remember, some stores were opening at like midnight?
Yeah.
I think you could play Madden or FIFA or something like that, right?
Yes.
There's definitely a lot going on.
I'm starting to forget. I have all these launch days in my brain.
Right.
My wife just commented on, hey, do you remember that day that we were up north near Chicago. We went up to Wisconsin. I was like, yeah, that was Surface RT launch day. That was October 20th. You know,
right.
She's like, she looked at me like, that's weird. She's like, because that's what I remember.
I do like to think about when you have to figure out a timeline, just think about what device you were using at the time. You know, like what phone did I have? That'll give you the year, you know. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think you're thinking a little bit earlier than I'm thinking, so maybe we'll kind of meet in the middle. Of course, you know, I don't love a big announcement and then a long delay between actually release date and getting things in my hands. Although I'm still not convinced I'll be purchasing anything. I'll just be upgrading my current devices. But, you know, we'll have to see. I think you're hoping for some kind of announcement early summer and some kind of release mid-summer, let's call it.
I did. I called it. I called it early. I would love to see it even earlier. And we're kind of pausing and looking around because Google Plus is really doing something funky in the background. I know we've both come in and out a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it keeps knocking you back on a mute, so I think they can do it. I mean, it's a pretty aggressive stance to get the betas. I mean, obviously they've got a couple. There are several builds ahead of us, John. Right? I mean, they're way ahead of us in builds, so they know what they can do.
I think Windows 10 is going to be fine, and from what I'm hearing, some of these features start making me nervous. I think they got to stop adding features for a second,
right?
Right. So, but you know, not necessarily like not everything I just kind of rambled off on earlier, and more has to be their launch day. I don't think when they say, let's just say Windows Hello or Hello Windows is coming to Windows 10, does that have to be their launch day? I don't know. I think they could get away with not having that for launch day. So, but there's some of these key things that I think will be. Obviously, Spartan. I think that's one that we haven't seen enough of yet, but we expect to be there. Does it have to be, though, right? I mean, so, again, I think we can talk, or you can RTM it, right, and not have Spartan, and have Spartan be something that that automatically downloads when you first install it on launch day or something like that. It's with the first update that goes out. So hopefully Microsoft will ship a quality product in a reasonable time frame and not make us wait too long, and also not include a bunch of features that aren't quite finished yet.
I definitely need it before September 12th, before Meetup. That would be handy, Microsoft, if you're listening.
Can you imagine if we're at Meetup without Windows 10?
That would be, yeah, that would be.
I think our hand would just be like Charlie Brown and all over the place, just, you know. Hey, Dave.
But thankfully, that is a week after Labor Day. So I'm calling it. It's Memorial Day to Labor Day.
And
but honestly,
I want Windows Phone 10 before Meetup too, but I don't know about that.
Yeah. Honestly, I want the hardware announcement way prior. Way prior. I liked what they did last year, 30 days. 30 days. And during that time frame, so they announced on May 20th, and delivery was on June 20th. And all in between there, you could pre-order. So I liked being able to pre-order. And that's what I did. I pre-ordered.
That's right. I forgot about the pre-orders.
I don't know. Maybe this year I'll crash the store. We'll just make a little run on the store.
Yeah, I will definitely like to visit the store that day. I have a feeling if there's a device that I want, it might not be available on launch day, just because that's how it usually goes for me. I usually am in like the second wave.
Yeah.
I usually want an odd SKU, not the mainstream one. So.
Yeah, and last year they did do it. They had a structured and balanced rollout of Surface Pro 3. You could buy the i5 on June 20. But you had to wait for the Core i3, and you had to wait for the Core i7. So, I need to try the i7. Does anybody out there have the i7? I need to try the Core i7. I don't think I've had a full experience yet. I have the i3. I'm on my second i5. I need to try the i7. I do. So, if anybody's listening, we need to talk i7. So I think that we've beat that one to death. Windows 10 global launch. John, they got to announce Surface Pro 4. I'm just telling you, I need the Surface Pro 4. I need it announced sooner than that. Honestly, I'm talking April. I need it announced. Let's get this done, Microsoft. I think we can do this. Microsoft Band is just getting started. What is all this about, John?
Well, Microsoft Band was released, and there was a lot of buzz about it, right? Because it kind of leaked, and then it was kind of released, and then we found out people had the Microsoft Band and were reviewing it, and were very happy with it for the most part. And then it became very difficult to get. I was able to go to a Microsoft store and try a couple on. He didn't have the size that I would have been. By the time you go back, then they slowly moved the band further in the back of the store, right? It kind of went from the front to the middle to then honestly, I think I went a while without even seeing it in the store. That could have just been me, though. But now I noticed it. I went 2 days ago, and first it was the Dell XPS 13 that was in the front, which I loved them doing that. Then they went to the HP Stream 7, which I was like, oh, okay. Not as compelling as the 13, but cool that you got that there. Well, the Microsoft Band, at least for me, is back at the front of my Microsoft store. So they're in the front, and they're on the side next to the phones and the Fitbits and the scales and all that stuff.
Because they have stock.
They have stock on both Microsoft Store online, your local Microsoft Store. Amazon is going to sell it. So is Target and Best Buy, and we're going global. We're going to hit the UK up soon. So Microsoft Band is here to stay, and it's going to be available in more places. They promise some more updates to the health app. I think they're going to open it up even more, or we're going to start seeing the fruits of that being an open platform.
Now, when did this came out? October, November last year? When did I go get that band, John?
Well, you didn't have it for Meetup, right? It was after that, so
it was a week prior to MVP Summit. So I had it at MVP Summit. So it was November. So it was November. Now I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here with Band. If they've got all stock ready to sell, see, I'm kind of in the mood of I could use a new hardware iteration. I'd like to see improvements. I'm ready for version 2, John.
I know, and you and I had thought maybe that initial stock was a small run, and then they were going to pause and come out with Band 2, and maybe it would be slightly different, like maybe not as feature-rich on the health side, and maybe it could be slimmer that way, like maybe you don't need the always-on heart rate, maybe you don't need the GPS. But no, something else happened. Either they really didn't expect it to take off, or they just weren't ready, or they needed to find a new manufacturing partner. But, the one good part about it being available is a lot of my coworkers use the Up Band. And a couple of them aren't too pleased with the sturdiness of it, I guess I should say. They keep breaking on them. So they're definitely considering the Microsoft Band as a viable option.
Awesome. Yeah, good. Keep flashing that thing around there in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
I love it. It is the best wearable I've ever used. And for those that have one, make sure you get the latest updates. The on-screen keyboard is amazing. You would not believe that it works, but it does. You can type on your Microsoft Band.
I didn't get a chance to use it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dave.
So, when does the on-screen keyboard come up? I mean,
so
run me through this.
Okay, you go to, let's say, your text messages. I have a text message from someone. You can read the whole text message, date and time, and hit reply. Option 1 is keyboard. Option 2 is Cortana, and then has your quick replies. So those are always still there. The ones that you preset on your band app. I can't talk. I'll call you back. That kind of stuff. But you reply and you hit keyboard, and you just start typing.
So it comes out with a QWERTY keyboard, all crammed into that little bitty screen.
Yep. Going to be impossible to see, but it's there.
Okay, there it is. Let me. Wow. Look at that hairy arm.
Yep.
I mean,
you can get the space. You can get the special characters. And then when you hit a button, and then it'll show you what you composed. Kind of like the one reading at a time.
Right.
And you can hit the send button, or you can go back and start from scratch. It has not made a mistake once. What? So there's definitely a lot of logic there. I mean, honestly, I wish the phone keyboard was as good as this. I mean, the phone keyboard's pretty good, but this is.
Does it have like an auto correct or auto fill or any kind of?
You don't get a C as you type. You type in the blind. So you just type, and then you got to scroll over and see what it came up with. Yeah, so like you just got to trust it. You just got to let go and trust it.
That's funny.
I've typed on there, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be garbage when I swipe over. Nope. I immediate send.
Have you tried to like speed it up, or I mean, have you just tried to like fool it?
No, I haven't, and maybe I should spend some more time with it. But I'm just so excited that I'm typing on my wrist. I mean,
right?
It's interesting, right? Because you can't always use Cortana, various reasons, noisy place. You don't want to embarrass yourself. Also, depending on what phone you use. So here's a little tip, in case you didn't know. Okay. I paired it with a 635. Cortana is not an option on the band. Can't explain it. Don't know why. RAM, processor, power, maybe. But of course, you pair it with something like the HTC One M8. Cortana is available as an input option.
She's kicking it. Okay.
Yeah, but the keyboard's always there as long as you have a update to your band. And I've also learned if you have something like the 635, the stock version of that OS that you get from your carrier does not support all the features of band. So it actually tells you to sign up for the developer preview to make your band more useful. And you don't have to install the developer preview app, believe it or not. The Microsoft Band app does all that for you. It says, hey, do you want to enter the preview? Right from the Band app from Microsoft Health. You say yep, and it does it. So I thought that was really, really cool.
Wow.
It made
pretty
it really
cool.
easy.
Let's see how they're tying all this together.
Yeah.
Microsoft. Oh, that's pretty cool. So everybody can buy a band now. There's not a special club. I'm out of the band club, so John is now in the band club. Very good. Very good. I never did a write-up, a review write-up. The only thing, I mean, besides maybe a little bit of form and fit of the band itself, I didn't like the charging cable. I would like to be able to maybe buy just the magnetic clippy part, and then you can put it on a USB cable, a mini USB. You know, so the little charging brick that snaps onto the back of the band.
Yeah.
If I could just buy it separately, but when I bought it, I had to buy an extra $20 cable, and then you have to bring a whole cable with you. And I understand you'd probably lose it if it was just that little piece of block, and it would come apart from the cable, but I would like that to be able to separate from the cable.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So you don't have to bring an additional cable with you, but then you'd have to remember to bring the block with you, right? So
you have to bring the block and not lose the block in your bag.
Yeah,
yeah.
Chances are you're better off with the cable. But okay, I thought that was an interesting tidbit. I will say I tried the band on in the store, and I didn't love the feel, but I'm wearing a band that was pre-broken in by somebody. and
It's
it feels
okay,
great.
John. It's okay,
So
John. You
I have a recommendation that you get someone else to buy the band.
podcast for them for a couple of months.
Yeah.
Bag a little.
And just drop hints every now and then, like,
And maybe they'll send you the band to shut you up.
I love Windows Phone, but I got to carry it with me all the time, and I'm thinking about switching. So, no, the band obviously gets more comfortable with time. It must. It can't just be something that's in my head, because my Android Wear watch, not as much as the Pebble, but definitely occasionally, I would normally take it off when I came home. I was like, okay, I got to give my wrist a break, wash up, get ready to hang out at home or whatever. So I'd put it back on. I don't feel the need to take this off, to be honest.
I agree with you. I never took it off. And day one, I started sleeping with the band to monitor the sleep stuff, and I never took it off. I took it off to shower and charge. That's it.
Wow. So yeah, it feels great. I love the notifications. Interesting tip too on Windows Phone. In the shade for the notifications, you can't always read all of the notification on Windows Phone. It's cut off. But you can read the whole notification on your band. I love that.
That's messed up.
So yeah, I actually prefer to check the notifications off the band than I do on my phone.
That's messed up. I had the band, I had Android Wear, and I've dropped both of them. I still have a smartwatch though. See? I'm going retro smartwatch right there, baby.
I don't want to turn this into a non-Windows show, but why no more smartwatch or smartwear? Let's call it that way.
I don't know. I don't know. I'll go back to. I'll probably go back to Wear, but I'm just enjoying having a nice little watch. So just a little watch. Looky there. I've converted back to a watch.
Good for you, Dave.
I tell the time with it too. And this has apps, John. It's got a date, time app on it. It's got an alarm app. It's got a stopwatch app. And the most important app for this one, the data bank. If you can't see on my on video, if you're listening to audio, it's got a calculator app. I'm telling you. This
I don't have that on the band.
Smartwatch of the future right there. I'm telling you. Casio data bank. Everybody, all you geeks listening probably have a data bank, Casio data bank, in a desk drawer somewhere. Just get it out and use it. It's awesome. Next. What is this? New builds. How are the builds coming out now? I know people are just complaining about builds and not fast enough. And are they going to start fast tracking these things? Windows 10?
I really don't believe anything that they say when it comes to this stuff anymore, because it seems to be changing, or one guy says something and then the girl says something and then two dudes say something. I don't know. It's just what we're getting now is we got a build today. Yay. All right, that's really just probably just to shut us up. But one build a month. So then we could also probably do some math here and figure out when summer is and how many more builds we're going to get. We're going to get an April build. We're going to get a May build. Maybe we're going to get a June build. It'll be interesting to see when they say one build a month. I mean, tops, it's 5 builds, but it's probably not going to be that, right? So we're probably seeing maybe 2 to 3 more of these builds after today's build.
Okay. I remember when I was on it, I was on the fast track and I would click check. There's nothing there.
Constantly, right?
Yeah, check.
Constant
Please check again. Just check
yeah, a little
again.
note. It looks like you have to upgrade to this build. This is no ISO available. So you either on Windows 10 and you can download this, or you got to start from scratch with the old build of Windows 10.
Okay. I'm staying out. I'm done.
We're sitting this one out, Dave.
I'm sitting this one out and let you guys take care of it. Please let me know in the forums if it's good.
Was just going to say that. Would love to see some reviews of Windows 10 in the forums.
I'm probably still not going to go over to it until it's done. All said and done. I'm just going to wait. I'm happy with my A1. Spartan. How's the new browser on this new build, John?
You can test the engine. if that makes any sense to anyone out there, anyone real techie nerdy. So
like a dev option or something.
yeah,
Developers
so
can do it?
you can go into IE and enable the Edge HTML engine, which I didn't know was called that. Maybe you guys in the chat room and those listening do know what that is. But yeah, it's there. They keep saying things like this is going to be the only browser in Windows 10. It'll be the only browser on smartphones. But apparently on PCs, now I'm not sure what they mean by PCs, right? But there will be IE 11 sticking around for a while. I don't know if that means devices like the Surface. I'm assuming it does. But yeah, I guess we're going to know more in April. It'll reach those in the fast update ring. Which is interesting because now I'm kind of curious, like, does Slow ever get an update, or are they going to be stuck on that original build of Windows
Slow.
10 that they got originally? So yeah, but it's coming. Some people are upset. I want them to get it right because depending on the success of this browser, it means I either stick with a Microsoft browser or I'm going to go back to Chrome.
Yeah.
I like Touch IE a little bit, but I don't love it, and the desktop IE, same thing. I don't love it. It's okay. I would like extensions,
I would like
That's my thing.
extensions. Hey, speaking of extensions, OneNote extension for Chrome is pretty freaking awesome. I don't know if you use OneNote a lot, but there's a little extension. It's a little OneNote in the top right of your browser, and it used to be just, it was okay. But now, when you click it, it gives you can click or capture the full web page or a region. You can draw a square and capture that region to OneNote, or you can just capture the text, the article, straight to OneNote, and it's awesome. Because in the old days, it would only capture to quick notes in your default OneNote notebook, but now there's a little drop down, and you can tell it where do you want to clip this to, basically OneNote. So for speed's sakes, you can just say click default location, boom, and it just goes. If you want to change it, if it's a different topic, you want to put it in a different notebook, there's a drop down where you can choose a completely different notebook or a completely different tab in that notebook, which is, it's really cool. You cannot beat that new Chrome extension, and I like the extensions themselves. I use OneNote, I use the Evernote extension, I use LastPass, and I also use Pushbullet because I'm an Android user. So, and I know you were rejoining from the Google, whatever Google is doing to us tonight. Well, I'll be lucky if I have an audio podcast, but
hopefully we're okay there. Yeah. So it seems like when I go to mute my mic, it's turning off the camera, and I like to mute the mic if you're talking, just so I don't put too much ambient noise in. But I am using OneNote more and more. It's my one place for notes. I've moved away from other things. I do use Pocket versus reading lists. I am saving things to Pocket. I've moved off Pushbullet because I am on Windows Phone. I will kind of jump ahead a little bit, but there is something out there called Copy, Kopy.
Okay.
It doesn't do the notifications like Pushbullet, but it does the sharing of links and text and notes and pictures and audio clips. And it's on actually Chrome and Android, and it's on Windows Phone and Windows 8.1. So there are apps in the stores. We'll put some links in the show notes. Definitely check out Kopy if you have any kind of text or links or anything really, even a note to yourself, and you want to share it between devices, and you're either all Windows or in a mixed environment, and Pushbullet's not doing it for you, check out Copy, Kopy.
Okay. Sounds good. Awesome. I'm glad you found that because I'm going to check that out.
It's pretty cool. Works
Yeah,
perfectly so far.
I'm a big fan of extensions. So I think when Spartan does come around, I'll probably be on that bandwagon. Just because I would love to leave Chrome, and we're trying to right now. I've got some software in test, and I'm trying to leave Chrome in the podcasting. I'm trying to leave Google Now, and switch over and do. We'll do the back end.
Something.
The broadcast is the is what's so cool about Google Plus, is because I can embed and it doesn't cost me anything. And a lot of the guys that do broadcasting like livestream.com and places like that, they want you to pay to embed live video. So that's the draw there. So Apple released their MacBook with their new whatever touched trackpad, and I'm seeing some chitter chatter out there on Twitter about something with Windows 10 new trackpad.
So it sort of started with the XPS 13 that Microsoft worked with them on the trackpad.
Mm-hmm.
That they were tired of having to deal with less than stellar trackpads and thought they could do better. So it was a partnership between Microsoft and Dell. And then, of course, Microsoft put a lot of effort into the trackpad on the Surface Pro 3 type cover. And so this is, we've heard these rumors, hey, Windows 10 is going to support multi-gestures, because right now you get a laptop like a Dell or an Asus, or actually the Dell's not the right example, anything else other than the Dell XPS 13, and you have to have these third-party driver apps, and you always see the thing sitting down right in your taskbar, right, and it shows your finger hitting it, and that's where you got to go to say, wait, what does 3 fingers do, 2 fingers, swipe up, swipe down? Microsoft really wants to build that in right to the OS. So multi-finger gestures to access the notification center, which is new, right? Cortana, so imagine quick access to Cortana with a gesture of your choice, and all of your virtual desktops. So obviously these are something that will be useful on laptops, notebooks, and of course some people even prefer to use the larger touchpads from Logitech and others with their desktop PCs. So there's 1 finger, 2 finger, 3 finger, and 4 finger gestures, and you can look this up in some of the leaks here, but they're trying to simplify what you do with touch on the tablet as well. So they're kind of attacking it from all the different levels, both from the trackpad and from touch, and it's really just more gesture control, and depending on your device, where those gestures are going to come from.
So when it says 3 finger or 4 finger actions, is that just pressure?
It's both. So for 3 fingers,
a 3 finger swipe.
So a 3 finger tap will invoke Cortana in their
Bam.
first example,
Okay.
and a 3 finger swipe can be programmed to do various things. A lot of times you can change your browser tabs, right? You can go to and from what you have on your browser. They're using 4 finger tap to invoke Action Center. So they're trying. And some of these look good. You can easily get to task view. You can stop using Alt-Tab on the keyboard and use some gestures to do that a little bit quicker. Show your desktop with 3 fingers up and down. I mean, we've got to say some of these things have become more widespread because of Apple. They've kind of built these into OS 10 and their MacBooks for a while. So now we'll see this on Windows without the need for a lot of these third-party drivers that just add overhead and complicate things. Because I had an Asus, and every now and then I'd close the lid, put it to sleep, and you'd wake it back up, and that driver wouldn't load properly. So then your gestures don't work, right? So I think it's just great. It's going to be built in right to the OS, and one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, I was trying to go through some of those gestures to see if I would actually use those, but who knows?
And they will be programmable, right? So of course, if you don't want 3 fingers for Cortana, you could program that to be something else.
I tend to just reach up to the screen. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of Surface Pro 3, because that screen is always kind of close to you, right? So
Yeah.
I'm always, or I have my left hand on it, and my right hand is on the mouse on the trackpad. And if I need to, I'm mousing with my right hand, and that left hand is always on the keyboard, ready to go, like a Control-C, Control-V, Control-B for bold or something. Always ready to go, Windows key, and I'll just reach up to the screen and swipe or close or tap or whatever. We'll see. I hope it doesn't, freak people out, You put fingers on it inadvertently, and bam, you're switched over to something crazy, and it's kind of that Windows 8 thing all over again. People can't figure it out. And
Right. Yeah, on my Asus, most of those gestures were not enabled by default.
Okay.
You had to go in and enable them. So we'll have to see how Microsoft handles that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if when you're installing or loading your machine up for the first time, and you'd say we're getting apps from the store or we're getting things ready. Not a bad opportunity to maybe introduce some of the new gestures. So
Okay. So there's some new USB scenarios, quote unquote, with Windows Phone. Usually you would okay, there's new USB stuff for Windows. But no, this is Windows Phone.
Well, you know why it's big is they officially announced their added support for USB Type-C, which you're hearing more and more about. So USB Type-C will be available to be used on the phone. It's smaller than Type-A. We all kind of know that. Of course, the MacBook's getting all the attention, as is the new Chromebook. But of course, we all know it's a matter of time. Hopefully summer that we're going to see, obviously, Surface devices with this port and maybe some other hardware. But of course, by doing this, you can enable USB hubs, human interface device support for keyboard and mice, USB mass storage. So imagine hooking up a flash drive and hard drive to your phone. And what I kind of like, which is one thing that I do miss from some other platforms, is USB audio in and out. So we can actually have a proper, like a dock or alarm clock. You can put your phone in it and pump the audio through and not have to worry about connecting via Bluetooth or other things like that.
How awesome would it be for, Microsoft keeps kind of teasing us with a possible flagship, and I think it's going to be the fall time zone or time frame, a flagship Windows Phone. How cool would it be if it had USB-C? That would differentiate it right off the bat to start with.
Yep.
Now that's to say that nothing in the near future doesn't get released. We're still waiting on LG to release the G4. We're waiting on... actually, LG said that they're going to do a fall release as well with a different flagship type phone. So it would be kind of cool for them to really be out in the starting gate with a USB-C in at least 2015. That would be good.
Be pretty cool, huh? And maybe help leverage some of the accessories that'll be out by then as more and more PCs and tablets join. I'd love to see some tablets with it too. Not necessarily have to be Windows tablets or Microsoft made tablets, but something.
The reason I say that is because we were chatting with Darren. You guys do the Agnostic Tech podcast, and I don't remember if he said this on Twitter or if he said this in our private chat. He said, Microsoft does need a flagship phone for the sheer reason of, the general public maybe didn't know it was the flagship phone, but they knew about the 1020 with the big camera, right? They knew about the 1520 because it was the big 6-inch. It was the first phablet, that huge 6-inch phone. Everybody knew about that. They knew it was a Windows Phone. And that is the sheer reason right there that Windows Phone needs a flagship. And I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, even the icon for a while, right? I mean, there's a lot of buzz about that, a lot of talk. People at work
Verizon flagship. It was the Verizon flagship phone right there. And now I don't even think it's in stores, right? Only the HTC.
It seems to be the HTC is the top of the line because the icon's kind of gone. The 930 is not available in the U.S. The 1020 is kind of phased out. A couple places have some 1520s left, but even that's hard to get. For example, it's hard to you can't just like pop onto Amazon and buy a lot of these things. You have to get them from other resellers or this place, that place. So give us something. It doesn't have to run Windows 10. I mean, again, a lot of what we're seeing, I could be wrong, but there's not going to be a huge difference between 8.1 and 10. There are obviously a lot of things under the hood, right? But as long as it's upgradable to Windows 10, let's just get that. Let's get something out here, even if it's not the A flagship. Let's get the step down from it or something.
Well, I ran an icon for how long? It wasn't long at all. I think it was in between my foray from the LG G2 to the G3. I ran the icon. I can't remember, John. I don't remember. I went on vacation with it.
The icon, not the Nikon.
Last summer.
I thought you were saying
not the Nikon. The icon.
Okay, thanks.
929, I guess it is. So, but the thing is I never ran it with Denim. And Denim was just released on the Verizon network for the Lumia Icon. So that kind of changes the phone. I mean, that changes it immensely. Now, I have Windows 10 on the 635 right here in my hand. But I've not used this as a phone. I haven't taken this out of the house and this is my only device, right? Because I'm on Verizon and this is actually a T-Mobile variant. So I've been looking around trying to score a cheap Nokia Lumia Icon on eBay or on Craigslist. So I have some if this then that formulas set up for eBay and Craigslist. When new ones hit, I get instant notification. And I've been doing that probably for 2 weeks. Now, when I first said I was in the market for an Icon, I did get a heads up from a friend of the show, Awesome Space Monkey, said, here's one. It was from, who's that phone reseller? They buy your phones and stuff.
Gazelle.
They sell them on eBay. They have an eBay store. Huh. They had one for $179. And it was, it was scratch and dent, previously used, no box, no charger, no cable. And I was like, oh, I should buy it. And I thought about it overnight, and then it was gone. It got purchased. And then slowly but surely, the price started getting higher and higher and higher. The price started going up after Denim was released. Now, granted, the 179 was way, way low. I don't know if there was something wrong with that phone. It was a pretty well-used phone. The average price on eBay right now for the Nokia Lumia Icon is $269. $269. And when I first started looking, you could get into one for $225, maybe $200. $200 would be kind of a beat-up version. No box, no charger, So it would be $250 for complete. Like new, quote-unquote, original box, original charger, original cable. And I'm kind of that weird person that I have to have the complete package, right? So I like the original box. I like the resale value. To me, that adds resale value. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. Some guys just need the phone. That's fine. And I've got extra chargers I could do with the phone. So cruising around, I got an IFT tonight, John. If this, then that. And it was from Overstock, and they had new, not refurbished, not manufacturer refurbished. You have to watch for that too. There's manufacturer refurbished, and there's also a seller refurbished. And you never, ever, 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 ever want to get seller refurbished.
Nope.
That means Tom, Dick, and Harry had it on a bench, filleted apart, and it replaced whatever was wrong with it with cheap Chinese parts. It was neither. It was just, I don't know, Overstock. I don't know if it was used Overstock. And it was $250, John. So I bought it. So it should be here next week. So I'm going to try.
Great, Dave.
I'm going to leave the house with it, John. I'm going to leave the house with it.
Even if you don't, Dave, I'm curious to hear about your experience using it.
Yep. I want to know what Denim has changed, and that's just the geek in me. That's just the Windows guy in me. I need to try it. I want to touch it, and I've kind of been jonesing to play with it and have one in my hands, and I just haven't been able to run across one. I really did want to put out the bucks for it, but I think if I do it quick and I still want to sell it, I should be able to get my money back easily. And I really don't have a problem with using it for a couple of months and then maybe turning it around for $200. I don't have a problem with that at all. I see there, to me, there's value in getting a monthly usage.
Sure.
So
No, I'm the same way. Yeah.
that there's value in there for me, so I'll do that. I just wish I had a band now, since I'm going to have a Windows Phone.
What are you gonna do? Yeah.
I don't know. Or a Pebble.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. Does Android Wear sync up with the Windows Phone?
Not yet.
I do have
Some
an LG.
have success with the Pebble, but don't know for how long.
No, I didn't really like the Pebble, John. I know you were early adopter.
I'm surprised. Yeah. It's still. I'm very curious with the Pebble time. If it supported Windows Phone, I definitely would have pre-ordered it. Or kickstarted it, whatever you want to call it. But I like their interface for a watch. I think it's one of the right ways to do it. Not saying it's the only right way or the best, but it's a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah. Okay. So we have someone in the chat room said that they ordered from Blink, BLINQ, and I've seen a lot of their listings come up, and I'll be interested to see how your phone is, because that is a quote-unquote seller refurbished, and that's the one that I've said don't touch. So it'll be interesting to see if we can prove that these guys are doing quality work. Please let me know, because we can promote them, because they are selling for a little cheaper. This phone was actually, there's a Blink phone right now that I'm looking at. Lumia Icon for $220, but it's seller refurbished. Now I got this message today, and Blink has put up several Lumia Icons lately, and there are 10 available on this auction, and 4 have sold. They have 99% feedback, but seller refurbished just really gives me pause.
Yeah. No, it's true, and so I got a little Blink story. I haven't purchased anything yet, but I was at the Microsoft store and played with the Yes Windows Phone, the Yes Billy.
It was Billy? Okay.
Man, Dave, I almost walked out of the store. With
Really?
It was really, really hard not to walk out of the store.
I talked with Yes at CES. It was so cool. John, you got to come to CES sometime. I mean, just sitting there talking with the guys that actually design that stuff,
right,
and having all those Windows phones laid out in front of you, it was really cool to be able to talk with those guys.
So we actually saw one get sold while I was in the store, a Yes Billy.
Nice.
So first of all, extremely thin and light. It's thinner than an iPhone 5 series, and it's just as thin as an iPhone 6. It's lighter than both, so it feels really good in the hands. It's you really got to pick it up. And Microsoft stores are great because they're not tethered. You can go ahead and unplug the power and hold it up. Mm-hmm. The guys were watching us. We actually pulled the back off, the plastic backing. It comes with 3 or 4 interchangeable color backs in the box. Mm-hmm. It comes with a screen protector in the box. It comes with headphones in the box. It's $179 at the Microsoft store, both online and in person. So I compared it to my 635 because that's what I was carrying at the time. It has 1 gig of RAM, so it beats the 635 there. It has a 720p screen, beats the 635 there. It has a 4.7-inch screen instead of 4.5. I would not get it if I was a camera aficionado. I mean, the camera seemed okay. It didn't seem much worse, if at all, than the 635. Maybe it's a little bit better. The screen I thought was great. I thought the screen was great. It had automatic brightness, which the 635 does not have.
Okay.
It does not have Gorilla Glass. It has a different type of glass, Dragon Tail glass, which they say is fairly strong. But anyway, it's $179. I was like, well, Dave, I kind of have my heart set on something else. I'm waiting for Windows 10 as well. But Blink has a factory refurbished version of it. So factory refurbished, you're saying that's the way to go, for $87.69.
Oh.
And if you sign up with Blink for their mailing list, which you can unsubscribe to later, you get a 10% off coupon. So you can get that phone for under $80 because shipping is free.
Seriously?
Man, I'm so close to pulling the trigger on that phone, Dave.
Okay,
you have no
so
idea.
I am in the Blink store on eBay. BLINQ, guys.
Well, I'm on their website, blink.com, BLINQ.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to Control-C this and put it in the show notes. BLINQ, and make sure everybody can partake. Let me look here if it's on eBay as well. 2 results for Yez. Unlocked Yez Billy, 8 gig smartphone, blue, for $79.99.
Yes, and all the backs are included there. So I want to be clear. It says blue, but you get white and red and all the others.
Okay, this one is seller refurbished. I'll just tell you that.
Now mine does say factory refurbished. Not sure if it matters or.
Certified pre-owned, fully functional, minor signs of use, scratches, dents, screen in good condition.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, I can't see where they say it comes with all the different. Has a 90-day warranty. And you know what? The guy in the chat room, Troffley, said he's had his for a month and no issues. So,
wow.
Okay, so I'm used to, when I see seller refurbished from the iPhone, it used to be from the iPhone market, John. You know how many cheap Chinese parts came with the iPhones? Yeah. People would drop their 3G in the water and, you know, they sell them to some refurbished unit and they would sell it. And so it's just not cool. Not cool. Includes all major accessories.
So, Dave, on the Blink website, they have a factory refurbished model. Item looks and feels new, special refurbished packaging. They also have a used, very good model. May show minor wear, may come repackaged for $79. So it's only $8 more to get the factory refurbished off of the used model. But
and I see that in their store, $87.69.
Yep.
For unlocked Yes Billy manufacturer refurbished. So it looks like their store is eBay. But if you can get that discount online on their website, that's pretty good. So why would you get this, John?
Oh, just because it felt so good in the hand. It was that light and thin. You know, every Windows phone. I mean, I have the HTC One M8. That's what my Sim's in now. It's a great phone, right? It's a little heavy. I mean, it is metal, all metal and glass mainly. It just felt great in the hand. In fact, my friend was saying, he goes, this is the first phone that I saw that if I had to carry 2 phones, I'd carry this phone. Remember how some guys got the Razr and the iPod Touch when it came out, or the iPod Nano? It reminded me of that. You would just kind of carry this along with your other phone and not even think twice about it. No LTE, dual SIM support, though. And it supports both GSM and the WCDMA standard, so you can actually pop a Verizon SIM. You can't take it to Verizon and get them activated for you. Good luck if they do that. But if you have a pre-activated Verizon SIM, you can feel free.
Throw it in there and it'll work. It's got the radio, right? Yeah. But 3G only.
Yeah. I like to call it 4G. I like to call it 4G, Dave. But yeah.
Doesn't have any
no
4G
LTE.
radios. Yeah, no LTE.
HSPA
radios.
plus at the best. Yeah, you're gonna
at the best.
Yeah.
They also have unlocked Blue, BLU. It's an 8 gig Windows phone.
Another nice phone. Those we're checking those out as well.
$100.
But there's something about the Yes. It just something about it. It's really thin, you know, and it's cool. And you know that the thing with Windows Phone is software wise they're all the same. I know people are going to jump on about Lumia cameras and stuff like that, but for the most part. Outside of that, you know, it's not like an Android device where the version of Android, the skin of Android makes it completely different.
Mm-hmm.
It did not have Windows 8. Oh, I was going to say it did not have Windows 8.1 update, but I'm assuming I could throw on the developer preview on there and get all the updates I need.
That's what I can't wait for. I can't wait to get it outside and to use the camera, and yeah, I'm excited again to use it. It's gonna be different. I'm gonna fuss about it. You guys know me. Yeah. I'm gonna fuss about it. I really like my Android and the things I can do with it. I like having different things on there. But you know what? It's got smart things. So that was one of my big ones, smart things. And I've come to realize, okay, maybe the bank app is not that important to me. How many times in the car do I take a picture of a check, right? Not a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Is there a Windows if this then that app?
Not to my knowledge.
I don't think there is. I don't think there is. I've been using that one quite a bit lately. I like IFT.
I'm not sure if anyone cares, but I was doing some research about Yes. They're actually going to have a 5-inch phone when Windows 10 comes out. I think they might have shown a sneak peek of it at CES or one of the other shows. I think it was maybe Mobile World Congress, but
yeah, I think it was.
Yes seems to be all in.
Very good. Very good. And there was Lenovo's in, aren't they?
Yeah. Finally, right? They've been rumored or mentioned
Right.
or openly talked about it for a while.
Right.
I didn't get any specs or anything. Did you get?
I saw a link earlier today, and I don't remember where it's at now.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think much was announced.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, hopefully I'll get mine sooner rather than later. I'd love to have it this weekend, but I know that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. I'm going to get denim on it, and it's been a while since I've rocked a Windows phone, so it's going to be kind of a learning curve for me. Layout, and you got to do it's a big difference, and I know you know that. Email, calendaring, everything, it's just completely different. Completely different out of the box. What else? What have we missed?
Well, I didn't get to talk about my favorite thing announced today.
Okay.
So that's a change to Xbox Music.
Okay. I have Xbox Music, John.
You do?
What's the change?
So yeah. Do you also have a OneDrive account? Well, I guess you do because you have Xbox Music, and I think you're kind of forced in there. Yeah. So, one of my least favorite, one of the missing features of Xbox Music to me was the fact that they don't have everything, and it's not their fault. No online music service has everything, right? There's always something. But there were some services out there, Google Play Music being one of them, that would quote-unquote scan your library, attempt to match your music. Okay, Xbox Music does that already. That's fine. We're used to scanning. But it would also upload your track. So if Google Play didn't have it, let's use Taylor Swift as an example, you could go ahead and, or the Beatles. Beatles are iTunes only. That's a big one. Mm-hmm. You could, if you had those tracks in your library, you could then access them from Google Play Music on any of your devices. Well, Microsoft done something kind of neat here. They added a music folder to everyone's OneDrive. Pop your music in there. It's accessible via your Xbox Music account. Done. The end of story. There's nothing else to do. Just put in that folder and walk away. Just launch your Xbox Music app on your Xbox, your phone, your tablet, whatever, your browser. It's there. Now, of course, that's going to get complicated. I've already kind of picked some stuff out. I'm uploading stuff. A sweet feature. You go to your settings, remove duplicate items. So it's going to know that, hey, John picked this from Xbox Music Library, but he also just uploaded it from his own library. Let's get rid of one of those. So,
yeah, because I think I've already uploaded all of my CDs to Xbox Music, John.
You probably scanned them.
Did I scan them? Okay.
Yes, because let's say one of those CDs was the Beatles. Xbox Music would not have that. So you would not be allowed to stream it. Now, if that file was locally on your machine, you could listen to it. But you would, let's say you bought a Beatles CD. You put it in your computer, Xbox Music saw it, added it to your collection. You stay on your computer, you could listen to the Beatles. But if you try to listen to that Beatles song on your phone, no go. But now, since you own that Beatles MP3 and you put it on your OneDrive, you can now listen to it. Because you own it. Microsoft can prove that you own it, so it's going to let you listen to it.
Awesome. So I can click collection. I've got albums, songs, artists. It's syncing my collection, John. Yeah, I've got a lot. I've got a lot uploaded. So you're saying I can put... Well, let me just look. I've got Beatles on here somewhere, right? I don't know what that... A, B, C, D. Bee Gees, Big and Rich. You don't want to know what I have in mind. I don't see Beatles.
Yep. Not on your phone.
No. Not on my artist.
Licensing deal.
Not on my artist, my collection.
Oh, there's also some rules, by the way, about using it on Android and iOS devices. So
Oh, it's
I
got
didn't
flash
read
my
through all of
Android
those,
device,
so-
and you're like, "Whoa, wait
Yeah,
a minute, sir!
it's
You can't
just,
enter.
Wait a second. Now, wait
Please,
a
sir, step
No,
back
there
away
was,
from the rope."
Yeah, I don't think that's 100% going to work yet for multi-platform devices. Also, we call them traders, but we'll get more into that on
Okay,
the Gnostic Tech
thanks.
podcast. But yeah, it's there's also a neat feature which I took advantage of. That hey, you already added a bunch of stuff to your Xbox music library and you kind of messed it up. You can wipe all that out. So anything that you didn't sync with OneDrive, you could say, you know what, just wipe that out, get that out of the way. So I'm actually going to start fresh with Xbox Music. I'm letting it upload all my stuff that I know I love, that I bought over the years from iTunes back in the day when we bought music and stuff like that, and then I can go ahead and kind of fill
So
in.
you're wiping out which side? Because I'm getting confused already.
Yeah, Xbox Music. So
Okay.
I went in and said, you know, all that stuff that I kind of matched and
All your
maybe it's
match, just
wrong
wipe
or
it out. You're going to
whatever.
keep it in OneDrive. Is that what you're
Yep.
going to do? I
Right.
think that's what I would like to do.
Yep.
Just it's mine. Let's just put it in
Mhm.
OneDrive.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, where's the Beatles? B-E. Why don't I have a Beatles album somewhere. I can't find it. Where would I put? I don't know where I
It's
put
okay,
it, Jen.
Dave. It's okay. It's okay. It's good.
But
It's gonna
I
be
think
okay.
I'm with you. And honestly, I think I created a music folder in my OneDrive several months ago when there was a rumor that they were going to do that.
Oh.
I just created the folder, so it's already there. So I have no idea.
Good for you.
If-
This is the first time I'm doing this, and I love it because I do have a Mac, and I do use iTunes to manage my music library, and I actually use the Windows Phone Mac app to sync music to my Windows Phone.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I also have a Windows 7 PC at work, so that's not Windows 8. You know, don't have Xbox Music app on there. I got my Surface. I got 2 Windows phones. So actually, having my music live on OneDrive makes great sense for me because it's now accessible on any device, and now having Xbox Music be more of the front end as opposed to the back end, I just really like that.
Yeah, I don't like music on my phone, but I'll drop.
I have to.
Well, you know, for like when I'm flying or something, I like
Exactly.
having the SD card. And I have like probably 20 gig on an SD card on this phone.
That's what I do. Yep.
And like a handful of movies, like maybe 10 movies that I've ripped and converted into mobile format, just in case I get bored. And
Well, I do the movies on my Surface, and I make sure the music's on my phone. And my podcast, if I'm going to go on a flight, I'm going to make sure I have all my
right, you
podcasts down.
download. And I've converted to downloading. No streaming, just downloading.
And I've gone back to streaming.
You've gone back to
Actually, I've never done streaming before in my life, but now I'm a streamer using an
Hey.
app called Casts. I'll be talking more about it in the months ahead, but it's called Casts. It's on the
Okay.
Windows Phone store. Soon to be a universal app, Dave, and that's why I'm using it.
Right. I'm going to have to catch up with all this stuff. I'm still an Android guy. And you know what's going to happen as soon as I put this back in the box? LG's going to say, "Hey, we released 5.1 for G3."
Get back up.
So you guys don't want to hear about that, do you?
It's okay.
I don't know about that. All right, so tonight I'm going to just upload. I'm going to start a OneDrive upload because I have like 3,000 gigabytes there.
Oh, it's been going on right now.
I'm putting on the
While
whole
we've been
thing.
recording.
Oh,
15 gigabytes uploaded to OneDrive.
no, yeah, I'm gonna do the whole thing. I'm uploading. I'm gonna do the whole thing. All right, what else have we missed, John? You got your copy app picked, right? What about your other app pick of the week?
If we got time, but I could just, there's a lot of news apps out there. Some are great. A lot of people love, I guess it's called the MSN news app now, not the Bing News app. But I'm using CBS News. It's a universal app. It's updated regularly. It's got a modern, fresh UI. Video is available, both live video from the CBSN network, which is 24/7 news, video clips from all CBS news shows. But it does breaking news alerts. It's just a clean app. So you can scroll through headlines, and if you click on them, instead of going to like the full article, you can just go to like an overview of the article, and it displays it all in one screen. It's just a kind of unique way to read your news. And of course, you can then get to the full, 500, 1,000 word articles, things like that. But It's great. It works. It's fast. It's clean. It's Windows first. I checked out the version on Android and it was like not even close. So
Oh, good.
whatever CBS is doing, they're focusing on the Windows platform for sure.
Good for them. You know what I'm going to do is what I do is when I change platforms is I go through my phone and I screen cap what I'm using, right? My layout and what I'm using. You know, because I'm using widgets, which I like my widgets.
Say goodbye.
Say goodbye. But I'll screen cap all my different things that I'm using. And some of the big ones for me is NFL Mobile. I like my NFL Mobile. And I have a Colts app. So my local team, my local NFL team always alerts me what's going on. Say like when it's during the season, I know you guys don't want to hear what this can do that yours can't, but during the season, like 2 hours before the game, the app will alert me if they're going to have the roof open or the roof closed. So you know how to dress. You know, granted, I can look that up, but sometimes you get into a hurry and you don't. And it's just like, boom, they text you, oh, perfect, roof is open. Wear sunglasses.
Wow.
So, little things. And I know that's the whole argument between iOS, Android, and Windows Phone is the little things. And it's very independent to different people. My little things are different from your little things. And my one big thing is different from your one big thing. We've talked about that before. But all those guys who are out there saying I should try it again, I'm taking your word for it. I'm going to try it again. I was on it for a long time. I was on the 928 for the longest time. And I really loved my 928.
Yeah, I actually forgot about the 928. I was looking through some
It's a good little phone.
listings right
It's a good
now.
little phone.
Yeah.
You can get that for $99 on eBay. I've got to take that if this then that out so I don't get all these.
Tempted again, yeah.
Yeah.
Else, so
I will need a case.
stop.
Go down.
Stop. No, you don't. It's an icon. You don't need a case. Don't
It'll
buy
buy-
anything that's going to block that wireless charge, and you better be wireless charging that bad boy.
I have a wireless charger. I have one in the
Okay.
car. So when I dock it, it starts charging, Bluetooth the podcast, bam. I love that. I really do. All right, we got to get out of here. People are going to be like,
do it.
shut up. Stop talking about Android versus Windows Phone.
We have to get to the third podcast of the night.
Yep, Snack Break Weekly. All right, guys.
Last
Hey,
week.
let me know in forums what you think about all this good, fun stuff. Windows Phone, Windows 10, John's app of the week. If John's crazy, if I'm crazy. And don't forget to listen to the Geeks Network or check out the Geeks Network and listen to Agnostic Tech Podcast. Honestly, it's one of my favorite podcasts out there. My favorite. And I need to ask everybody out there, and please let me know via Twitter or via the forums, your selection of Windows Phone podcasts out there. I know there is a selection for you. There's several, actually. I think there's 3 or 4 Windows Phone podcasts. Is there room for one more? I'm just going to ask you guys that because I had great arguments that there was room for one more Windows Phone podcast because some of them were so wildly different. And then I ran across one that I didn't know existed. And I listened to it and I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I'm not going to listen to it. That's my choice. I listened to one and I don't like it. And I will not subscribe to it. I will not listen to it anymore. So I'm asking, maybe you guys are the same way. Maybe you guys want a dedicated Windows Phone podcast. So please let me know. You can just email me, podcast@homeservershow.com or david@mccabe.io. Hit me in the forums. You can direct message me there, or you can just tweet me, McCabe.io or at Surface Geeks. John goes by at John actually, John goes by J Wiskowski.
Yes, sir.
On Twitter. I will put that in the show notes as well as all these links that we talked about with the band, with Windows 10, the apps, the Geeks Network, and the forums. All right? I think we're done.
All right.
See you in the forums.
Thanks, everybody.
The audio is done. Take care. Combing
my hair.
Comb your hair.
Combing my hair.
Thanks, chat room. Appreciate you.
Yes, we love you.
Actually, the Windows Phone podcast, I don't want to do. I don't. I have enough. I do enough. And I know
I'll do it.
John wants to do it.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I want to do one short. I'm serious, guys. 30 minutes. There's no reason to go longer. Every week, every 2 weeks, as we ramp up to Windows Phone 10, we know there's going to be a lot to talk about. And when Windows Phone 10 comes out, I know I'm calling it the wrong thing. Windows 10 for phones, whatever it is. When that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let's talk about some apps. Let's take 1 or 2 apps a week. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about the latest hardware that we've seen, touched, felt, held, saw someone use, whatever it is, and let's move on. Come back a week later, 2 weeks later, and talk some more.
I've got another guy, I told you, John, that wants to do it. He recorded a pilot so I could hear, how he sounds and everything. And he needs a co-host, obviously. But I think it would work. And when new hardware comes out, you talk about new hardware.
And, long term, I think the Windows Phone development community would love that, a place to be heard, whether they just send us stuff to talk about or review, or they want to come on real quick and talk about an app.
I agree. We could lighten up the Windows Phone on Surface Geeks, although I know a lot of people like to hear it.
That's the tough one, right? I think we either have to go all in on Windows Phone on Surface Geeks for like at least 30 minutes or 20, 30 minutes each episode.
Yeah.
Or take a step back, move into another show.
That's what we did with Agnostic Type Podcast. I mean, that's worked out well, if you ask me. I wish you guys would do a weekly.
I do too, Dave. Dave, you know me. I podcast almost every night.
I know. You just
almost every night. I can talk and talk.
Sit down in the chair and talk to yourself.
Right. I might be one of the few that could actually successfully do a solo podcast. Maybe I should give it a.
You should be the new Dan Benjamin. You should be the Geeks Network instead of me.
I'm hoping one day you'll get tired of Dave and you'll want to retire and say, you know
you
what,
in.
John, this is all yours.
I might retire from.
I want that
Surface
house
Geeks.
too, though. That house is part of the deal.
No, you can come stay in it. You can come stay in this lovely Surface Geeks headquarters. All you can see is this little piece right here. You can't see anything.
I've seen some photos of your pool.
You can see the VIC-20 sitting behind me. You can see my Harry Potter books above me.
See enough of those.
You can see my iPhone, my original.
So we got people in chat room. Do I purchase the Yes Billy or not? I need some help here. It's in my cart for the 3rd time this week. Am I buying this thing?
In your cart. HSPA, you're going to get a little faster speed, right? It's not going to be
honestly, LT's getting so saturated in Orlando that the HSPA Plus bands are getting a little bit better coverage, I've noticed. I'm not too worried about that.
It's got 1 gig, huh? Camera?
Yeah, it's going to be crud. It's gonna
See,
be
you
like
know me. I can't do it if it's got a crappy
that'd be
camera.
a no-go for you. Yeah, no-go for you.
$79. If it were me, I'd do it. But I'm a gambling man.
Well, especially if we are, gearing up for the show here. I got to get some devices. I got to get some, experience. I got to get out there.
Yeah.
Because now I've gone past Lumia, right? I got the HTC One M8, so now I know what it's like on.
You did. It's hard to break people of that, to get off the Lumia train.
Yeah, guys, do not be afraid to hop off that Lumia train. Do not be afraid.
When you said you bought one, I looked and it was just like, wow, it's just too expensive for me. I'm trying to do this
I bought
on
it used.
Small budget.
I did buy it used, so I know it's still expensive, but $350 is better than $660.
Yeah.
So any day, yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I was thinking about maybe I would hop off of Verizon and just get off the family plan and go straight to AT&T so I can SIM swap a little easier.
Yeah, that part is nice. And I think, I mean, unless we think there's a multi-carrier flagship coming, I think we all know it's going to be AT&T.
It's going to be AT&T easily, yeah.
I
for
mean,
sure.
I think the 640 is an example of what it's going to be like in the future. They
See,
want a
yeah, I would-
worldwide release.
I would totally buy the XL, right?
Well,
and
you know
run
that's what
that
I
for
want.
yeah,
I want
and
that
run that.
so bad. I know.
I know a certain person who has one.
A 640 XL?
Yeah. Well, we can't get it. We can't get it.
I know we can't get it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, I want one so bad.
Yeah.
If I could talk to that person, it might just make me feel better.
That person has agreed to come on to your podcast and talk Windows Phone. WindowsPhoneGeeks.com.
Wow. We have to do it at least just for that.
And I think that do we launch WindowsPhoneGeeks.com as a separate blog, or do we just launch it under Surface Geeks and keep it in the forums?
Yeah.
You know, because the forums is always going to stay mobile, right?
Right. I think I'd want to lean that way first.
Yeah.
But we can talk about it.
Then we could move it. I'll still pay for the Libsyn.
John's taking it off.
Taking it off. All right, we're going to stop the broadcast.
Good
John's
night.
getting naked. Hey,
Good night, everybody.
YouTubers, it's been fun. Everybody in the chat room, thank you very much. Lopta, Troffley. Troffley, are you in the forums? You better be in the forums. I want to see you out there at surfacegeeks.net/forums. Let's get out there and chat.
If you can't be good, be bad, baby.
Definitely want to see you guys at that. Lopta, I know you're in every one of my forums, aren't you? So, Lopta's he drinks the Kool-Aid, the Geeks Network, TGN Kool-Aid. He's on Jim's shows and my forums, and so it's good stuff. Thanks, guys. All right, hitting the big stop button. Good night.